Committee. We welcome back to the show Mr. Jim Jordan. Mr. Jordan, you heard my opening. I want to say enough said. I'm much more interested, to tell you the truth, in how these documents in the Florida trial, and you're the head of the Judiciary Committee, so this is right up your alley and your jurisdiction. Apparently, the documents were doctored, but apparently the classified covers were doctored also. The whole thing may have been a photo op. Tell us if you know much about this and if you're going to go after it, sir.
Well, the answer to the last question is yes, we're going to go after it. We're going to pursue this as strongly as we can. We want to get the answers to those questions. But what we do know is the documents that were seized, they changed the order of those documents. So in other words, the physical documents didn't match up with the scanned documents. And someone might say when you do that, that is called tampering with evidence, something you're not supposed to do. And the irony for me, Larry, is Jack Smith mishandled the documents, the very documents he's charging President Trump with mishandling. Go figure. So this is how ridiculous it is. And then, frankly, the other big takeaway for me is, remember what they did with Joe Biden and his handling of classified information. Robert Hur came in front of our committee and said Joe Biden met both elements of the crime. He knowingly kept, knowingly disclosed classified information. And then Robert Hur said in his report, he said Joe Biden had strong motivations for ignoring classified procedures because he was writing a book for which he got paid $8 million. So we have motive, we have the elements of the crime, but they said we recommend no charges because he's a forgetful old man. So we got the double standard, and then we got Jack Smith mishandling documents, all the while he's charging President Trump for supposedly mishandling information. You can't make this stuff up.
No, and it's a very sordid period, all this. Investigative reporter Julie Kelly, who also writes for Real Clear Investigations, she says that the FBI agents actually accused of willfully misleading the American people, I'm just going to read you this, into believing the former president is a criminal and a threat to national security, attached the cover sheets to at least 7 files to stage the photo. And the classified cover sheets were never recovered in the container, contrary to what one of the prosecutors said. In other words, look, I'm just saying these are her charges, and FBI agents took it upon themselves to paperclip the sheets to the documents. The whole thing was out of order. And some of these classified, there's colorful classified documents. You've seen them. I've seen them in office. It was all, may not have happened. It was all wrong.
If they did that, that is clearly tampering with evidence. That is just so wrong. That's on par with what they did clear back in 2016 when they took false information to the FISA court to get a warrant to go spy on President Trump's campaign. So if they did that, if they added that heading and that to the outside of these folders, that is as wrong as it gets. And we need an answer to that question, and that's certainly one we will try to get the answer to.
Ms. Kelly goes on to write, and by the way, she has a very good reputation. A lot of people look to her. She does honest investigative work. She's now defense attorneys claim, and the special counsel concedes, that some placeholders do not match the relevant documents. Look, this is all indicting, and apparently Judge Cannon has now postponed a crucial aspect of the trial because she's looking at the same thing that Ms. Julie Kelly is describing. I mean, apparently yesterday, based on new revelations of evidence disruption and potential tampering, Judge Eileen Cannon has postponed a key deadline in the classified documents case. I just find this absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Every one of these cases is falling apart. Fani Willis, the whole issue with Nathan Wade being paid by the taxpayers of Georgia, coming up to D.C., meeting with the January 6th committee, the White House counsel, the Department of Justice. That case is all falling apart. Alvin Bragg's case, you talked about how ridiculous that whole thing is. And then now we have the classified documents case falling apart in Miami. And frankly, we got the immunity issue that's for the case in D.C., Jack Smith case in D.C. We got the Supreme Court handling that. So I think, again, the country is clearly seeing that these cases are baloney. This is lawfare, as you said. It is wrong, and the country understands that.
Yeah, and you know, the worst part is it besmirches our justice system. This is the greatest country in the world. It besmirches our justice system. That infuriates me, too, and I'm sure it does you. Can I ask, let me branch out just a little bit, Jim Jordan. With respect to all these campus riots and the anti-Semitism and the hate crimes therein, is your committee, or can your committee, look into a civil rights discrimination case, Title VI, which was reinforced by an executive order by President Trump, I might add, a couple years back when he was president? How about defunding these colleges? They are in violation, it seems to me, of the civil rights discrimination. Is there a case there, Jim Jordan?
Yeah, we should do all of the above. We passed legislation on the House floor last week that goes to Title VI in the civil rights case, basically taking the definition President Trump had when you served in his administration. That definition, that was in the legislation. We're also looking at the money that from outside individuals encouraging these agitators to come to campus and do all this crazy radical stuff. We're looking at that. And then federal dollars that go to these universities, committees are looking at that. And then finally, what our committee, the Judiciary Committee, is looking at is, were any of these students engaged in this radical anti-Semitic behavior on campuses, were they here, are they here on a student visa? Because we know at Columbia, for example, 55% of the student body is on some kind of visa. So if they're here on a visa, we wrote Secretary Blinken and Secretary Mayorkas last week. We said, if they're here on a visa, are you, Secretary Blinken, are you working to revoke that visa? And then if you're doing that, Secretary Mayorkas, are you working to remove them from the country because they're in clear violation of the Immigration Nationality Act? So we started that from the Judiciary Committee last week.
I think, is Mr. Trump come out of the courtroom? Is that? Oh, no. All right, hang on. So we'll go back. False alarm. Sorry, Jim Jordan. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No problem.
I was going to ask one other thing here. Let me go back. You know, we're talking about student visas. I am still waiting. We heard this a month ago or 6 weeks ago. I'm still waiting for President Biden to issue some kind of executive order or actions to close the southern border. Now, you all passed your H.R. 2. You've reinforced that bill. So far, nothing has happened. What we know is we got a bunch of outside agitators on college campuses. Somebody told me today, painting the steps of one of the Columbia buildings. They couldn't even spell Palestine right, for heaven's sakes. But the point is, letting Palestinians in, letting Gazans in without vetting them. When are we going to close the border? What is happening here? I just didn't want the. It's like all these other actions are blocking out that issue, which is either the #1 issue in the country or after inflation, the second most important issue. What do you think, Jim Jordan?
Well, I mean, this administration is not going to do it. They created the problem. Their policies made this terrible situation on our southern border and created the issues we've talked about. So they're not going to do it. The only way we're going to get this thing fixed now is when President Trump wins on November 5th and takes office on January 20th, 2025. Which I think is going to happen, and it's exactly what the country needs. So that's the only way I think we're going to be able to solve what Joe Biden intentionally did, set out to do, literally on day one of his presidency.
Jim Jordan, it is always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.